All right, Shalom. Before I begin, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone as well. And also Shalom and salutations to the brothers out there of the hopeful elect that are preaching this word in truth and sincerity as well. Alright, so I'm the brother Shaquat from the branch of Great Millstone, Montreal. You know, back with another in transit lesson. And once again, you know, the style of this lesson is an impromptu, you know. So, you know, what I want to get into is, you know, basically going into how, you know, there's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we've been exposed to, you know, by the Heavenly Father, right? Because it's not random, you know, that we ran across the truth, right? It's not a random thing. It's not something that just happened, to happen, you know? But it's something that's actually preordained, right? It's preordained for particular men to have and possess this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures in its purest form, man, right? And what is the purest form? The purest form is, you know, would be the truth, man. You know, not cankered, not you know, not twisted, not perverted, man. You know, and that would be the doctrine that the elders and apostles and bishops of Great Millstone possess, right? That's that pure doctrine. You know, and a quick precept that comes to mind, you know, is the words of the Lord are purified 7 times, man, right? So these words are pure to the pure, right? That's what the scriptures say. Unto the pure, all things are pure, right? But unto the defiled, you know, to the unbelieving, you know, roughly paraphrasing that precept, man. You know, but the reason why, you know, the men of the Lord have come across the truth is because ultimately this is for them, right? This fits them. You know, this is fit for them to possess, right? Their vessel can hold this pure doctrine because they themselves are pure, right? And that, you know, what also comes to mind is King David, right? The Lord saw King David fit to be the ruler of the nation of Israel. Why? Because his spirit was pure. His spirit was right with the Most High, you know? So that's what made him fit for that position, because that position requires a person like King David. You know, someone that's what, meek and lowly at heart, you know, and someone that fears the Most High, right? So, you know, King David was fit for that position, and that's the case with the men of the Lord as well. The vessels that were chosen to possess this truth, this wisdom, man, because this wisdom is pure, and the Lord knows that the men he's called into this are pure as well, you know. But that's not to say that everybody that has possession of this word is pure, because scriptures also speak about some that have crept in, you know, some that are not of Yahushai, you know, false brethren and so on and so forth, right? You know, but they won't completely understand what this whole thing is about. Those that are impure, you know, they might have a slimmer amount of it, but not the whole thing, man. You know, because it's ultimately not for them. All right, you know, and hey, this wisdom, knowledge, understanding has to be held, you know, has to be handled a particular way, right? It has to be handled, you know, in a way where it's supposed to be, you know, applied, right? Because, you know, scriptures also speak about somebody having a light which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and keeping it under a bed, right? When it's supposed to be put on a candlestick and, you know, made to be seen. It's supposed to be applied, man, you know? And that's what we're supposed to do with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we have obtained. Apply it, right? A precept that comes to mind is in the book of Sirach, how it speaks about there's one person, it's a person that teaches Salakia, there's a person that teaches many, but he's unprofitable to himself, right? So you have people that are out there that are able to teach and have this great wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and able to break things down to the least common denominator, right? They understand the deepest breakdowns to, you know, the book of Daniel 11, Daniel 7, Daniel 8, Revelations. You know, they can break all those things down and go into the secular history, you know, but they're not profitable unto themselves, you know, and that's not where you want to be, because that means that all that wisdom and knowledge and understanding that you have is pointless, because you're not applying it to yourself, you know. And then also there's another precept that speaks about the same thing, where you have the opposite of that. You know, a person that has a small grasp and understanding of the scriptures, but those things that he understands, those couple precepts that he has, he applies them to the max. You know, and that person is considered more well-pleasing to the Lord, you know, versus somebody that knows it all and, you know, pretty much puffed up and, you know, with that knowledge that he has, you know, versus somebody that fears the Lord and has a little bit of knowledge of the scriptures but still applies them and is desirous to want to add on to his measure, right? You know, and that's what the scriptures are for, man. You know, they're for the elect to basically maneuver in this last kingdom, you know, this revived Roman Empire. You know, that's why Yahushua said, I pray that thou shouldest not take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil, man. And how is the elect, you know, going to be kept from this evil world, this evil time, you know, this evil world, you know, that's ruled by Esau, Edom? It's through the, you know, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, man. The words that Yahushua left behind for us to have, man. The comfort, that's what they are, comfort. You know, because why is it a comfort? Because if you apply it, you're gonna avoid like bad situations. You know. And the first thing that came to my mind is when Yahushua mentioned for us to be at peace with all men, or, you know, to agree with our adversary quickly. Why? To avoid conflict. You know? And if you apply that, that's going to take you far. You know, not wanting to start problems with people. You know, but being at peace with all men. Not wanting to start problems with the police, but saying, okay, yo, you got it. You know, I'm in the wrong, even though you're not. Just take the low, right? I'm in the wrong. You're right. I'm sorry, and you know, just get out that situation. You know? So that's what it is, man. You know, and that's why the scriptures are known as the doctrine of life. Because it's for us to live. You know, it's for us to live, man. To live in this world. Alright? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You know, it was short, but Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to say, Call Halayimla Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Ruchakadash. Once again, double honors to my teachers, the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well. Until next time, shalom.